In the studio with us, Chris Lane and Jess Frenzel, Bemidji, or Northern Township. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Well, there's been a lot of talk about this situation. What would you guys call it?
Well, the biggest, most concerning thing for us issue-wise is our incorporation. So in the next couple months here, hopefully, we will be having a trial. We sent a petition down to the state. It was about 2-ish weeks ago. And that kicked off this process of us potentially becoming a city.
Timing-wise, I don't know if there's ever a perfect time for it, but with the county doing a road construction project, you guys wanting to do a sanitary sewer project, that kind of lines up. Did that, I don't want to say force, accelerate the timeline, or is this what Northern Township residents wanted? This is just kind of the timeline that just naturally happened.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. Over the course of the wastewater project, which in its current configuration has been going on since about 2021, we're 4-ish years into it, incorporation became a much more forefront topic from our residents. We had several meetings about it too, and it was very clear from what they were telling us that they wanted us to move forward with that too. So they have been two things that we've been working with concurrently in the background over the course of the past few years. Specifically to your question, the timing of it, there's many ways it probably could have gone on, but this is one that as things kind of came together made the most sense. The timing to do it right now absolutely is in our best interest.
For your residents, what has been their biggest reason and rationale why they want to incorporate?
I think from what I've heard is that, one, we've just been operating as a city for many years. But secondly, just having the ability to plan effectively for the long term. So just knowing that your borders are in fact set, they're not going to change someday, that you have a stable tax base, you're able to plan for bigger projects, just kind of know what money's coming in and out every single year. As everybody here knows, over the past, several decades, there's been lots of annexations that have happened. And it's just really hard to plan for the future when you never know exactly what your tax base is going to look like the next year.
Well, we think also it was important to know that we have residents and developers who have been coming into our community, and for them to know as they invest in our stuff, they want to know what rules are they going to follow. Are they following Northern Township rules? Are they going to be annexed in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I think it's only fair to them as they keep investing in our community, in our area, that they know what we're going to follow and what kind of expenses they'll have.
I think the general consensus from Bemidji city residents would be there's maybe some angst and animosity from Northern Township, or why is the city suing? What is that relationship like right now between Northern Township and the city? I mean, obviously you're potentially both going to court, but is it as divided as what some people might think?
I personally don't think that it needs to be. There is no animosity in the actions that we're taking, the things that we're doing. I've heard the mayor say this too, recently, is just that everybody's doing what they think is in the best interest of their residents. So that's no different for us than it is for them. That being said, we have worked together on many things in the past. Moving forward, absolutely, we're always going to be neighbors no matter what happens here. So we have to work together. There's just no doubt about that. That being said, we definitely wish that Bemidji wasn't taking the actions that they are taking right now. We are petitioning to become a city, to incorporate. That doesn't require anything on their part whatsoever. They have, in fact, now petitioned the state to annex in response, which is, an action that's forcibly trying to take land that doesn't belong to them. Otherwise, if they were not even a part of the process, which they're under no obligation whatsoever to be, our incorporation would probably be a pretty straightforward process, and it'd be a lot cheaper for our residents. And most importantly, and I'll probably end up saying this again, is Bemidji residents, they don't have to pay a dime for this entire process. But by them entering into this with an annexation fight, they're potentially spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of Bemidji taxpayer dollars, in addition to increasing our costs in this process, probably by hundreds of thousands of dollars too.
There's a lot of misconceptions, I think, of when this all started, why it all started. Mayor was here and said, Rutgers came to the city. I understand Rutgers needed something done pretty quickly. Did that escalate this process moving forward?
I'll say that. I think Rutgers was a starting point for this, but also another thing that happened even before that, back even prior to 2020, back I think in 2018 or 19, there was meetings with the Beltrami County Road 20 project, and this is something that was floated. We didn't have a timeline when that County Road 20 project was going to start, but Rutgers did bring up that they needed to do something at their property. We knew the road was happening. It kind of just seemed when those things were coming together, we at that point also heard the DNR, the state park, had a need. We just realized at that point, okay, this is now is the time. We had heard that there's been things in the past where people miss an opportunity, and we didn't want to miss that opportunity. We feel like stars were aligning, where there was going to be an expenditure by the county to do the road. We could save a bunch of money doing that. There's a definite need before these organizations invested money into new systems. Let's do this now. So Rutgers is, I think, was right at the beginning too, so I think it gets pinned on them. I don't think probably rightfully so.
Just looking for solutions. Dave brought up a good point about zoning, commercial zoning, and everybody goes to the Brainerd Baxter example. Are you guys even? Is that? It doesn't sound like you're all have this big commercial zoning plan, or is it already in the works? Or
So we have our own zoning ordinance and comprehensive plan. They really are variations off of what we used to have when we had the joint planning board, right?
Oh, okay.
Since then, it's been a couple of years, I think, since that dissolved. We've revamped them, gone through and then just kind of more tailored them to what the specific needs of our community are. But that being said, yeah, we have everything in place that you would typically see for zoning, and a comprehensive plan, just looking far out into the future, what you want to see the community look like.
sure.
And when Dave Hengel was here, he goes, if I put my City of Bemidji hat on, I could understand where they're coming from. If I put my Northern Township hat on, I can understand where they're coming from. I personally have lived in both Brainerd and Baxter. I didn't think it was a big issue. If you hear people say, well, it's just going to become Brainerd and Baxter, what's your reaction to that statement?
I don't think we're looking for that. I think we have our planning in place, and just even the size of our township and the geography of it doesn't really tend us to think that that's going to be our future. There's definitely commercial areas in our township that have been there for a while, even for many years. When you look at up on the Northern Township or Northern School, there's a commercial avenue there. There's up on 71. There's some more commercial buildings and stuff development there. We're not looking to make big changes with this. This isn't about making a change to what our township currently is and hopefully our future city. We just want to be able to maintain it and keep planning and developing it as we see fit and as our residents have saw fit. And that's what I think is important to us, is that's what our residents want, is that they've elected us. I think for the most part, they're pretty happy with what we've done, and I think they want to continue that.
From a logistic standpoint, what are the main differences? Township has elections, township has boards, township has
Right.
stuff. What changes if you do incorporate?
So if we incorporate, it's going to look and feel a lot the same that it does today. The main difference is instead of having a town board, you're going to have a city council. It's still an elected position process, what have you, so it's going to look and feel a lot the same. But at the end of the day, really all that's ever going to change is the amount of services that you offer your people. And if we as a community, as a new future potential city, decide we don't want to add new services and whatnot, it really should just feel exactly like it is today. And that's like when we make the claim that, our taxes aren't going to go up. Well, it's because we aren't going to be adding a bunch of new services. Other than that, yeah, there really isn't going to be much difference other than we won't have an annual township meeting anymore. Cities just have a little bit more autonomy for how the government runs in that aspect, but it's completely elected positions. If you don't like how something's being run, you vote them out and get somebody else in there.
So it's kind of like the last step, I guess, of actually incorporation, if everything proceeds as we hope it does, and we do become a city, is basically what they do is they kick all the town board out. Then they have to all rerun again as a city council. So everybody has to be, that's the beginning of the new city, is a new city council that's elected by the people of some sort. So all of our town board would be gone, and then whether we would choose to run again or not, or that'd be up to the individual board members. But so that's how it would be, a full newly elected council.
Would geographic boundaries for wards, or I don't know what a township calls them, would that all change too?
As we've been told, at first you just start off with 5 at-large city council members. You would have the potential, if the residents wanted to change it to some sort of award system, but that's not how it generally would ever just be put into place.
On this with your residents, is it an overwhelming number, like over 95% are in support, behind going to meetings, being engaged, getting on committees?
For the people who have spoken to us, it's predominantly, I mean, we're talking the 90% who have spoken to us who are in favor of us moving forward. We're not naive to think there's not people who have different viewpoints who haven't spoken before, but the people who are coming to our meetings, people who are speaking to us and sending emails and messages in, we're continuing on the path that they're directing us to. This is, we knew we needed a solution for a sewer project, and that's one thing that started. We listened to we knew that that's what had to happen. We knew that with that being built, we needed to plan for a future. The residents have spoken at 3 separate meetings, I think now, maybe even 4, that they've told us almost completely unanimously, a couple maybe votes differently,
Sure.
that have said they want us to proceed with incorporation. So
And the thing I would probably add there too is that when we had like our first big meeting out at the fairgrounds in 2021, it was about annexation specifically, and not surprisingly, everybody kind of had their hackles up and nobody wanted that, and we had a hand vote at the end, and all the hands went up, say no to annexation. But over the course of the years, as Jess alluded to there, we've had a few more meetings, and they were specific about incorporation. I didn't know what to expect necessarily, but every single meeting, it was completely overwhelming. Whenever we've had a large group of people there, they're all just like, yes, please move forward. This is something we've wanted for a long time. It needs to be done.
What is the population of Northern Township?
Right now, if you look at the state demographer's data, it's 3,883, I believe, if I have that number correct. Before the last round of annexation that happened in 2020, we were up around 4,500 residents. So that was a substantial drop, but it was due to annexation. Just looking at our planning and zoning, though, I mean, we're seeing building happening every single year. Our residents, our rate of increase, that is growing every single year. So we expect to get back up to that and beyond in the future.
Do you guys have a website where people can understand that aren't in Northern Township to look at or read or?
Yeah, no, I
Follow?
appreciate that. NorthernTownship.com. That really is our source of truth. So if you want to come and find out anything about what we have going on, come to our website. I maintain it myself. I try to keep everything up to date on there. We have a lot of information about our wastewater project. We have pages dedicated just to this incorporation process. So anything that you want to know about what's going on with us, go to our website. We do also have a Facebook page that you can check out as well.
Sure. And contact information?
Yep, it's all on our website.
Well, gentlemen, I know there's a lot of steps here, and the more we can share, the more knowledge, the more we talk about things. It's
More
easy.
informed, the better.
Absolutely. So if you guys want to come back on again, we certainly welcome you to.
well, we appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. We enjoy talking to the community. Like I said, we hold no animosity towards the city. We want to just move forward and do what's right for what we think for our constituency. And we appreciate the opportunity to air our side of it a little bit too. So thank you very much.
You bet.